We need to remember where we are at what time and how to present ourselves. Most women have apologetic body language. We stand like this. We should stand with our hands by our side as something to remember. Our thumbs go by our seams. It's a good way to remember. When you're talking to someone, and if you put your hands in front like this, you're rounding your shoulders, you're having apologetic body behavior. Even in the Army, to be relaxed, your hands are behind you, not in front of you. There's a reason for it, because they still want you at ease. At ease doesn't mean at ease at all, but it's relaxed. It's relaxed from their normal stance, but you still can breathe. You can still stand up straight and be proud of who you are. Women are not always proud of who they are, at least from a perception standpoint. And let's talk about the difference between, and I'm sorry, I'm moving this piece of hair because it's warm. And I should not, that's called preening, and we're going to get to it, but I can't do anything about it. Perception, better than 98.2% of the conversations that we have are based on perception, because you don't know what the other person's sets of experiences are, and that's perception. If I don't like someone in a beautiful beige embroidered jacket, this person is starting at a deficit, but she doesn't know it. We don't know what the perception is because it's their own sets of experiences. It's much easier to change someone's mind by reality, bringing in another set of truths or facts. But it's hard because perception is their own. So we need our body language and our wordsmith capability to be at the highest, because who knows the most commonly used phrase in this country? Anyone want to hazard a guess? Yes, ma'am. Almost, almost. Almost, that's a generational thing. Anyone else? Oh, I misunderstood you. Oh, is that what you meant? Because we're not engaging, we're not communicating, we're not getting feedback, either verbally or by body language. There's an accountability to engaging in a conversation. And that accountability is feedback on both the communicator, which is the transmitter, and the receiver, which is your audience, to get feedback. And we don't. The boss who gets inundated and her boss comes to her and gives her another project that's due in at tomorrow morning's meeting. The subordinate hears this, decides to come to the rescue. Said, I'll have this done for you. I'll do it. Okay, but it needs to be ready for tomorrow morning's meeting. Okay. Great, thank you. Great job. Tomorrow morning comes, and the boss is walking and pacing. And the subordinate now, and she goes into the meeting without anything. The subordinate comes prancing in a half hour early for when the regular meeting is, to give his boss all the time to get ready. No one talked about that it was a special meeting, and it was starting 1 hour earlier. They assumed. Feedback. Feedback with words, feedback with body language. Lean in. Tell me, is that really what you meant to say? You want to lean in all the time. we also want to have the clip that stays on. Let's try to get this back on. So it's important that we don't take things for granted. We want to be responsible. If the communicator has forgotten to say it, and you sense something is different, ask. Be responsible for the feedback. We do that all the time. Now, there are, in this room right now, 3 people who cannot wait for this to be over, and they can't figure out a way to leave the room. 3, based on body language. Not what they thought it was going to be, didn't have enough facts or figures. I don't know the reason why. I'm trying to become a mind reader, but it just doesn't happen. So what we are looking for are signals, and we look for them in clusters. So it's now 10 to 7, and I've been talking for about a half hour. Yes, ma'am?
Maybe they have to go to the bathroom.
Most people, that's great. And she said maybe they have to go to the bathroom. Most people, if they have to go to the bathroom, especially women, and women of a certain age, nothing stands in their way. No, these people, and we excuse ourselves and come back. It's very, very hard, depending. Did they come with someone who's saying, she seems interested, I don't know, I want to go, she's boring. We show this through our body language. We show, I can see the ones who are engaged in learning. I can see the few of you who actually are enjoying it. But there's also 3 of you, and if you know who you are, you can go. It's okay, bye. You don't even have to take a card. I didn't hand them out earlier. So we need to think about our body language, even sitting here like this. So you're at a wedding, listening to those speeches. When you really want to just get up and get to the bar again, when are they going to open it? But when the bride and groom are doing their thing, it's their moment, they're looking out at you. And they see, phones, another good sign of body language. When you go to a restaurant, ladies, unless your sister or daughter is imminently giving birth, no cell phone on the table. Babysitters, they will get a hold of you. Leave the restaurant's number. A lot of restaurants now are stopping cell phone usage. Try to engage with the person with whom you're dining. No cell phones. We are addicted as a society. 2 people got thrown out of a meeting for being on their cell phones. The CEO found it to be disrespectful. They were doing business. They weren't on Facebook. They weren't doing something foolish. But they were tired of listening to the agenda that the CEO wanted to follow. And they were just doing, and they thought, well, if I do it down here. We need to recognize that some of the rules of good etiquette still apply, especially in business, especially if you're in a global business. How you carry yourself, how you hand someone a business card, how you do things, whether you sit with your legs crossed or your ankles crossed, whether your skirt covers your knee, whether you're in pants. All can make a difference culturally. Understand the environment. If you're working in a manufacturing environment, there's a certain norm. If you're working in a banking industry, there's another norm, and the 2 shall never meet. It all depends. If you're presenting, there's a standard. If you're interviewing, there are even studies that have it down to what color blouse you should wear. Choices because of perception. They have it first, second, and third colors, depending on the region you live in. I'm again in the wrong business. These people get paid to test colors. I just...
So what are they?
Pardon me?
What are they?
Okay, in the Midwest and everywhere but New York and San Francisco, for women, it's navy blue is the first choice colored suit, charcoal gray, and the third color is either chocolate brown or black. If you are interviewing in New York, Manhattan, the city area, and San Francisco, first color becomes black, navy blue, charcoal gray, chocolate brown does not even come into the mix. So for people in transition, there's studies on that. There's studies about how you sit. When you work with certain countries, if you are at a meeting and there are Russian people or Italian people, I'm talking from the country, non-Americans, there's a way to conduct business. There's a pecking order. Asian countries, there are lots of rules, and what's good for one may not be good for the other. And we have one young woman who was working in Libya. Bet you there were a few rules there. We have rules. And in America, we have lost billions, that's with a B, because of etiquette. And I'll tell you one deal. They worked for 3 years to put this deal together. And it was with a Chinese-owned company. And they finally work everything out. They're in New York. They go to the Four Seasons to have dinner to celebrate, and the lawyers are going to sign off tomorrow morning, and it's a done deal. $5 billion deal. $5 billion. During dinner, the CEO of the American-based company got so excited, he pointed to his Asian counterparts with a utensil in his hand. They promptly put down their utensils, left the restaurant, and never came back. Deal done. That is a true story. How do I know that? I was hired by the American company to then go in and go to the executive dining room. They still exist. It's amazing. And observe people dining. Talk about body language signals. They were signaling with their napkins. I thought there must have been a ship out there that they were waving in. You know, we take a napkin, we unfold it, we put it on our lap, but no. So lots of things to learn that we have forgotten. We have been great. We have been great at teaching, and our kids knew good manners up until about the age 10, and then they started going away. And now we're finding those millennials in work are lost at times because manners count. Your body language at a business luncheon counts as much as etiquette. Which way do you sit in a chair? Do you know that there are rules for that? You enter from your left. You exit to your right.